Listen, if you're tired and nothing is working, your habits, your routines, your goals, your fresh start, I want to offer you a gentler explanation than you just lack discipline. You're just not trying hard enough. It might not be a strategy problem, it might be a safety problem. And I'm talking psychological safety, physical safety, of course, but really psychological safety because you can't outplan a nervous system that does not feel safe. Today, we're going to talk about why safety has to come before strategy and how to know if you're in survival mode and a few regulation tools that you can actually use in real life, especially as a mom. Because I've said it before and I will say it again January can get loud. The goals and the plans and the routines and the new year, new you. But if your body is exhausted and overwhelmed and constantly on edge, if you are burnt the fuck out, strategies are not going to stick. Not because you're a failure, but because your nervous system is prioritizing its survival. So here's what you're going to get today: why strategy fails when your body is just not having it and not feeling safe, a quick checklist to spot those survival mode responses, regulation tools to actually use, not fluffy woo woo things, and no 45-minute morning routines, but actual realistic tools, capacity math for days that you only have 30%, not 100%, and how this changes your relationship so it will bridge us into our February. On a quick note, this is educational. It is not therapy. If you are in an unsafe situation, safety planning and professional support matter. And please reach out to get help with that. For the rest of us living in too much seasons, let's get practical. Welcome back to The Reclaimed Woman, where reclaiming your peace, connection, and honestly, your life is our favorite topic. I'm Jess, mom, cycle breaker, certified family life coach, and this is for the moms doing two bold ass things at once: parenting their kids and reparenting themselves, because that is like a lot. Around here, we talk real life parenting, but we also talk about what's underneath it: the nervous system stuff, triggers, boundaries, repair, and how to build self trust when you've been running on survival mode for years. And just so we're clear, this is a compassion over judgment zone. We can hold nuance. We can tell the truth without demonizing people. We can understand patterns and know that everyone has a story and everyone survives in a different way without excusing the harm that may have been done. Safety always comes first here. So if that sounds like the kind of community that you've been needing and the kind of support you're looking for, hit follow. I would be happy to grow alongside you. Let's talk about why you can have the best laid plan and it still feels like you can't follow through. When your nervous system doesn't feel safe, it doesn't care about your calendar. It cares about your protection. So even good strategies can feel impossible when your body is in a threat mode. Meal prepping feels like climbing a freaking mountain. A workout plan just feels like pressure and too many steps. It's just too much BS. Journaling feels like another task that just feels like a waste of time. Your new schedule feels way too structured and it's like setting yourself up for failure. A conversation feels like it's going to be a conflict, even if it's not, because dysregulation changes what your brain can access: your patience, your clarity, your ability to problem solve, your flexibility, your sense of time. And this is why you'll say, I know what to do. I have all the tools at my disposal and I just can't do it. This sentence usually means that your body is asking for safety before it can execute anything. Here's a simple reframe that you can use all freaking month. I don't need a better plan. I need a safer state. I need to make sure I'm good before I can execute. I've tried to push through so many strategies in my life, so many years worth of BS and reiterating that I was a failure. And then going through all of this work, realizing that I was just overstimulated and not supported in the way I specifically needed to be supported, and the systems that I specifically needed, not fitting myself into everybody else's cookie cutter or box. So how do you know if you're operating from survival mode? I want you to use this like a diagnostic, not to label, not to shame yourself, just to be aware. If you're in survival mode, you might start to notice things in your body, emotional things, behaviors, signs in your relationship. So I want to go over all of those. Your body signs might look like you're waking up tired no matter how much rest you get. You're just exhausted all the time. You might have a tight jaw or shoulders or shallow breathing. I have noticed this thing that I've developed through the years. I didn't notice it until recently. So it's like a newer thing, but I've developed to this point where I push my teeth together, and then it looks like I'm just, like, clenching my jaw all the time because I basically am, but I'm, like, pushing my teeth together in the front. It's very strange, and I've had a hard time relaxing my jaw muscles. Headaches, stomach tension, frequent overwhelm. IBS, I honestly feel like IBS is just, like, code for you're too stressed out and we don't know what to say to you, so we're just gonna say, "Hey, by the way, it's just this IBS thing." Because it tends to have a lot of people who have stress or autoimmune diseases or things like that that generally are just not being touched in the medical field. It just all ends up being IBS. And I really feel like it's so much deeper than that. Or you crash at night and then you can't turn off. So maybe you're like so tired, but then you lay down for bed and then you just can't fall asleep. Those are all things in your body that you will notice when you are stuck in a state of survival and you're not feeling psychologically safe. Emotional signs can be things like irritability, a short fuse. Generally, we know those are signs of burnout, and those are the ones that are talked about the most. Tears close to the surface or emotional numbness, feeling like everything is just too much, guilt after you react. Those are the ones I think that we're the most familiar with, or at least that we pay the most attention to. Then there's behavior signs, doom scrolling or zoning out, procrastination, snapping or shutting down, saying yes automatically and then resenting it later, avoiding messages or decisions because you just feel flooded. So you just freeze out and you're like, I don't know, I can't do anything anymore. Done. Those are all behaviors that we might be showing up doing and then not thinking anything of it. Like so often we hear that people say they're just addicted to their phone. But it's like, is everyone addicted to their phone or are some people just scrolling their phone because they don't have an outlet and they don't know what else to do? Maybe they're not even addicted. Maybe they don't even care what they're seeing. They're just scrolling to numb their mind. Okay, quick confession. Sometimes I stay up way too late reading smut and regret it the next morning. And I still keep doing it because it is fun and it actually boosts my confidence. And it's honestly so worth it. If you are trying to reclaim joy without needing it to be perfectly balanced, I have linked some of my favorite reads in the show notes. And I will give a little disclaimer some of them are pretty aggressive. So enter at your own risk. And then in your relationship, it could show up in various relationships. You might feel misunderstood easily. You might assume the tone or the intent behind it that isn't there. You can't access that softness, or conflict feels like it is dangerous and then things get bigger. If you checked more than a few off of those lists, if you said, oh, yeah, like I resonate with that to more than a few of these, your next step is not more effort. It is regulation. And I'm not talking about perfection. I am talking about returning to a baseline where you can choose your response. So now I'm going to give you 3 tools to help that because if you are in that state, you need things that are quick and repeatable and realistic. And most importantly, effective when you're already activated and worked up. Number 1, you hear it everywhere. We roll our eyes. We say it's woo woo, but it is 100% not. It is breathing. And there's so many different ways to do this. You can find one that doesn't feel too weird for you, but it is a go-to because it works. It works in the middle of real life, resets your vagus nerve. It calms your body so quickly. Using these breaths when you're about to respond to something, when you're about to walk into your house, before you send a text, before you parent a meltdown. All you have to do is before those things happen, inhale through your nose, exhale slowly for about twice as long as you inhaled, and do it like 5 times. Internally, you could be telling yourself, slow is safe. I can respond from me. You're telling your body, we're not being chased by a bear. We are safe. We are okay. And we are just in a tough moment, or we just are in a phase where this feels hard, but we are not in danger. We are good. And if you do nothing else today, do this. There's so many different ones. Teach your kids to do it. It's so helpful. Number 2, naming your needs. This one helps when you're emotionally reactive and you can't really tell what's happening. So you'll use this when you want to snap, control, explain, or crash out. And what you do with this one is you name your state. I am activated. I am upset. I am flooded. I am overstimulated. I say that one often. That's probably like my favorite one to say, oh my God, I'm overstimulated right now. And then you name your need. I need water. I need quiet. I need help. I need to take a minute. I need to take a breath. You could use two of these tools. You could say, I need to breathe. And then you use tool number one, right? You can then, when you've named your need, you take one little step toward that need. So it could be drinking your water. It could be stepping outside for 60 seconds. I used to cover my ears. Now I have the loop earplugs, but that has been a game changer, either covering my ears or putting in the earplugs, because it just slows down one of the extra sensory inputs that tips me over the edge. So it's been very helpful. You could also ask for 10 minutes alone, and lowering, like I said, your stimulation can be the sound, but it could also be like turning down the lights. It could be turning down music. Or one of the times that I get the most overstimulated is like if our kids have their tablets and we're trying to like watch TV or something, and then like the baby climbs on me. It just like, it's everything all at once. And it can be really, really overwhelming. So it can be sounds, it could be stepping away from the sounds, but it could also be in the moment, turning the sounds down or dimming the lights or what have you. And this is powerful because it prevents a shame loop. So instead of what is wrong with me, it just becomes more of a focus on, okay, what do I need right now? What is going to help me right now? Because I have needs too, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with me for feeling like this. What am I needing to help this? Number three is the micro movement discharge. Sometimes your body needs energy to move through, not more thinking. This works especially well with little kids when they are like so worked up, they have like anger and want to like hit and things like that. But it also works for us because let me tell you, as a first gen gentle mom, there are times where I'm like, I just wish I could smack this kid, but I would never, like, I never really want to do that. That is just my reactive brain from where I've been taught, because I don't believe that violence solves anything. And I am not a violent person, but there are times where I'm like, I just want to push them through the door or whatever to get them going, and it's like that extra aggravated, activated energy where I just want to like fight through the feelings instead of allowing them to be. So when you feel buzzy or trapped or restless or like you might explode, sometimes I feel like the energy in my body is just like pushing outwards. And like I just want to like crawl out of my own skin when I'm having like a panic attack or something like that. Sometimes that happens. With these ones, you need movement. And so this could be like wall push-ups for 60 seconds. It could be shaking out your arms, legs, hands, shaking out your whole body. You do like a little like dance party. I do that often. Or I'll sing. Sometimes I sing things out when I'm stressed, but like moving around, my kids watch me do that to regulate often. And it is so helpful. So you could um like you could roll your neck in slow neck rolls. Mine just popped as I was doing that. You could do slow shoulder rolls. You could push the floor away through your feet while you're standing. You can grab your hands like you're holding hands with yourself and pull as hard as you can. Those are all things that help release that energy in your body. And while you're doing this, you can say, I'm allowed to move this through. This is energy. It's not my identity. It's not who I am. It's just an energy I need to process. Some people do push ups when they're really angry with someone. They'll just do push ups to get it out of their system. This helps your body complete that stress cycle so that you're not dumping it onto your kids or your spouse or whoever you're around. For me, when it comes to a physical one, I do mostly a feet shuffle, or I will do a little mini twerk. And I don't really know why, but it's one of the things that just like pops up for me is a little twerk, a little foot shuffle, and like little shimmies. I don't know. I've always been a dancer, so those things just kind of come out when I don't even expect them to. Sometimes I'm not even angry, it just comes out. Now let's talk about the part that makes us feel like we're failing more often than not. And that's the days that we don't have 100% to give. And then we feel like shit because we want to give more and we just can't. This is one of the most life-changing shifts that I have learned. Stop building your life for your best days. Build it for your real days. Because as moms, we don't get consistent energy levels. We don't get consistent routines. We get sleep interruptions, emotional labor, unexpected sickness, school chaos, overstimulation, and all the things in between. And that's why I want to talk about our capacity math. First and foremost, we have to think about what percentage do I have today? And be honest about that. Do I have 30%? Maybe I have 50%. Maybe I have 70%. Maybe I only have 10. But then when we know what we have as a percent, realistically, what we think we have available to us right now, if you have 30% capacity today, you do 30% of the tasks. So here are some examples of what that could look like. 30% of parenting could be fewer transitions. Maybe you stay home and you don't go out today because you only have 30%. Maybe you make a simpler meal. You just pop in some freaking fish sticks and call it a day. Maybe you do more connection and fewer correcting, right? Maybe you just play games with your kids because that's all you have the energy to do is just veg out on the couch, eat them fish sticks and popcorn, and just play a game because it lets you guys all just have fun together while just doing something low energy, right? It could be one anchor routine, like your bedtime. Highly recommended you keep the bedtime one. And then just give grace for the rest because it's okay. It's just one day. It's just a day, and then you can move on and try again tomorrow. 30% on your home might look like your minimum viable tidy. We do 10-minute tidies in our house because I fucking hate cleaning, and it seems like we're always cleaning. So we get everybody. We actually call it a tidy tornado sometimes too, because we just run around cleaning as quick as we can and doing as well as we can in 10 minutes, and then we just call it good. It could be dishes and trash and one load of laundry, and everything else can wait. Sometimes for me, it's just cleaning my bathroom because I feel so much better when my bathroom is clean and my like living room area because my kids have this really fun, um, I guess, habit of bringing like 800 stuffies down and then loading up my entire couch. And I have a big sectional. Like, there is no reason my entire couch should be cluttered between the dogs and then all of their stuff. And then they live like little piggies. I've told them this. Like, there is like little like candy wrappers and stuff that we have to clean up. And I'm like, the couch is in a trash can, people. What are you doing? So sometimes it just looks like cleaning my couch off and cleaning my bathroom. And that's okay. That's my minimum viable tidy. 30% of work or creation can be a little output, one rough outline, one voice note to yourself, sending one email, not a full day's worth of work, not a huge decision day. Maybe you just go to work and you just do the bare minimum. And I know people hate to say that. We need a great work ethic. Nobody is on 100% all the freaking time. That's the whole point of this part of this episode. So if you go in and you just do the bare minimum, so fucking be it. So be it. Then there is a 2 yeses and a no rule that also helps with this. So on the 30% days, you could commit to 2 yeses, which are your 2 most essential things that you know have to be done right on this day. And then 1 no, one thing that you drop on purpose. And the key here is on low capacity days, you're not failing then, you're just downshifting. So you still have something that you can be proud of that you did, that you were able to accomplish, but you allow yourself to let go of the other stuff. But it helps you still feel that sense of accomplishment and feeling impressed that you did the things. And because staying regulated is more valuable than staying impressive, I want you to create a baseline list. So when you only have 30%, what are the things that matter most to you to have done on those 30% days? Maybe you need to make sure you drink water, right? It could be something simple like that. Maybe it's you just make sure you do 1 load of laundry. Maybe it's the bathroom, like I said. Some days when I feel like I don't have any energy, I'm like, I can at least get my bathroom cleaned. And I love that part because like cleaning the toilet and scrubbing down my counter and making it smell so nummy in there, that makes me feel so freaking accomplished and like put together. Something about a really like sparkly clean pine sol smelling bathroom is just chef's kiss. So maybe it's your bathroom. Maybe it's taking a 10-minute walk or sitting outside in the morning on your steps. Some days that's what I need and I make sure to do it. Doing a bedtime routine with softness and not perfection, not allowing it to spiral and fight because sometimes bedtime routines are rough. Or before you react to anything that goes on in your life, choosing a regulation tool. These are the things that you can write down. What is something that resonates for you that on your 30% days you are going to look to help you feel accomplished while also downshifting your ability with lower capacity? This list is what becomes your safety net. Now, here's the surprising part, though. When you live by capacity math, your relationships actually improve. What? Because not only does it give you some structure and grace for yourself, but it also helps you build that confidence that you can still show up even on your 30% days. That's how you give yourself grace. And it overflows into your understanding and your compassion and your empathy for others as well. When your nervous system feels unsafe, you interpret everything through a threat. So you might hear feedback as criticism, hear a question as a demand, or a kid's noise as a disrespect, hear your partner's tone as rejection. But when you are regulated even a little bit, you can access that curiosity, the patience, the humor, the repair, the softness, the boundaries without the explosiveness. Safety first does not mean that you don't get triggered. It means that you recover faster. And this is where we're going to come into February, because February will be the month of repair and relationships. Because hello, it is Valentine's Day. Regulation is the foundation of healthy connection, because you can't communicate well when your body feels like it's in a fight or flight state. So next month, we're going to be talking about repair after rupture, secured connections, communication that's not going to escalate, and how to rebuild trust in yourself and in your home. But this month is where we lay this foundation: safety before our strategy. So today, pick one regulation tool and use it consistently before all of the hard comes rolling in. Before each thing, use your tool. Do the tool first, and that's it. Not overhauling, not routining, not moments of safety. One moment of safety before you hit that strategy. And if you want to share, I would love to hear where you're at. Before I do this thing, I intend on doing this tool. I would love to know where you're at and what is working for you and what it looks like for you, because we can all share these things. We all have different ways of going about everything and how we live life. And so you might have a certain twist on it that might help somebody else. And so I would love to hear how you're doing this. And if you're not sure with these stress survival states, I want you to go to my website and take the free quiz, because then when you know what your default is, you can start to recognize those patterns as well and be on the lookout for specific patterns based on your survival type. Listen, when you practice all of this, you're not just getting calmer. It's not a surface level BS kind of thing. You're literally changing the kind of mom that you get to be in the moment and break the cycles and reset the generational patterns that you literally set out to do. You get to show up exactly how you're wanting to and start building that pattern for yourself to show up with grace and kindness and empathy and change the world and create ripple effects that will go on for years and years to come. And that is a reset worth doing. No pressure. It all takes small steps. That's how you create those different trajectories. That's how you create those ripples. So rather than the pressure of, oh my God, I have to change everything for my lineage, what if you just said, oh my God, this one thing me doing is going to change my entire lineage? That's insane and amazing. And that makes me feel like $1,000,000, because I know I started with that one step and it has completely shifted everything. Alrighty, friend, if this episode hit, helped, or made you feel a little bit less like a hot mess doing this all by yourself, I'd love it if you would take a second and leave a review. It helps this show reach all the moms who are still sitting here thinking, is this just me? Am I freaking crazy? Because that's really the whole point. And if something came up for you, questions, thoughts, or a topic you would love for me to talk about, come tell me. You can message me or use the link in the show notes to share what's on your mind. This show is shaped by real stuff that you're living, not just what sounds good on a content calendar. All right, take a deep breath, take what you need, and leave the rest. And I hope you have a stellar week.